So, Scott, could you give me a couple of examples here to help me understand this?
Uh, well, it's it's beyond just looking for a target, hitting that target, hitting that target, hitting that target. It's about creating targets, and that's I found one of the fascinating things about Mr. Parker's approach to it. That I can kick a guy down on the ground. If you get down there, you squeeze him right, you take him down on the ground, but he's going to have the reaction. So when he goes down on the ground, I know what's going to happen. You kick him in the groin, he's going to raise up. So pow. So you're actually creating a target. You're not looking for a target. You're not hitting, waiting, and then punch him over here. You're kicking, knowing that he's going to come up. So pang. You know, that's an interesting concept. You know, that's a fundamental new concept that I learned. I never learned any of that. I just learned to hit here, hit here, hit here, hit here, and with no really thought about what what my opponent's reaction is going to. So same with alternating maces. We know that we hit to the solar plexus, and he's going to come in. So bang, you catch him on the way in. So you have a lot of things going for you. You got the borrowed force, any number of things, and that's fundamentally, I think, one of the most interesting things about Kenpo. So I know that. So when I'm moving on my own, I know that if I crack him over here, he's going to have a reaction. So I can attack something else, or something else, or some other target is going to come into view. And that's in a lot of our techniques, but a lot of guys they don't really look into that and really see what's going on. Take that part out.
So, was that part of his system that he was really thinking about how one strike would then open another possibility? So, that was how he built out the system with these different heights of attack and depth and these different
Yeah,
things.
you have a multitude of attacks, all kinds of directions, methods, path, angles, all kinds of things. You can't. It's like you use the universal pattern. So we taught the universal pattern. You're supposed to look at that as different angles, but it's not so much of a one-dimensional thing. It's a three-dimensional pattern. It's really, you can look at it as being inside of a sphere of the universal pattern, and what can you do from this? What can they do to you? What you can do? How you can counter them? How they can counter you? These are things that was really all the time he would try to get us to think about and develop for ourselves. Think about what we're doing, not just repeat. I see this so much, guys. They're always doing, they do a technique line. You see them do the technique all the way through as it was written, but not too often, and very rarely, as I see it, people break out of the pattern and develop, their own kind of movement, or add things, or take away things, and change things. And there's sort of similarity between Filipino martial arts and a lot of other arts, karate, different styles that I took. The Filipinos, they have these different flow drills, and they're different patterns, either with an empty hand, with a stick, or the knife. And they do these patterns. So you learn these basic patterns, and you get those down. So you know kind of what's going to go. It's going to be over here. It's going to be over here. You know what to do from at this position. But ultimately, you break that open, and you become you just free flow it. So it's the same with Kenpo, that, I could do 5 swords, but what if the guy doesn't, what if he which happens sometimes, a guy will shoot a different punch, or something different, could forget about what the attack was. So you have to go from, you have to be spontaneous. But the only way to be spontaneous is to have these things down, and not and break away from the pattern. You have to break away from the sequence. That's fundamental. That's what you learn. Um, we have your basic technique. You learn the technique, but then you have to go into the what if, and then you go into the spontaneous. But the only way to get spontaneous is you got to really go through the what if. That what if he does it? What if he does that? So now you're exploring, you're expanding this technique out to other ways, other attacks, so you're able to get an idea of what you can do and what you can't do, what works and what doesn't seem to work. And ultimately you'll be able to get into that spontaneous where you're not confining yourself, you're not chaining yourself to a specific movement or a technique. I have to do this. If he shoots a right punch, this is what I do. No, you can go to the inside, you can go to the outside, you can go over it, you can go under it. Many different ways. But then you ultimately, and that will be your own style and how you, if you're a small person, if you're a tall person, you may have to adjust all these things. You have long legs, you have short legs, but you just alter. Like Parker said, you alter the weapon or the target or both. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks.